Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be learning everything around fundraising capacity assessment. So if you've heard about fundraising capacity assessment and you've been wondering what is it about, you are in the right space. We'll look into the details of why it's important for you as an organization to conduct a fundraising capacity assessment to help you attract funding. So keep it here. For those who are new, a very warm welcome to my channel. My name is Lucy Njue, and I am a certified fundraising executive and a proposal development consultant. And here we talk about fundraising and how to grow our non-profit organizations so that we can have greater impact and have sustainable programs. So what I do is that I equip you with the skills and provide you with the resources that you need to help you grow your organization. I know the first question that perhaps many of you are asking is, what is fundraising capacity assessment? So it's a participatory process, a systematic process during which we identify the gaps, we identify the opportunities that we can leverage on to develop actions and strategies that support our fundraising success. So basically it's a process where you interrogate your system and your processes and see how you can improve. The end result is developing an action plan that helps you to have a strong foundation for your fundraising. So why is it important? The reason why it's important for you to conduct a fundraising capacity assessment is that it helps you to dig deeper, to understand your systems better, and look at the underlying causes or the underlying problems that could be affecting your fundraising success. So, in human nature, or generally, we tend to look at to address the problems that we can see at the service level. So we are looking at our organizations and we can see we do not have the funding that we require to have greater impact, but then we try to address through a reactive process. Usually we start writing proposals, we start attending seminars, but we are not very strategic. So this is the fundraising capacity assessment helps you to be more strategic in putting systems that will help you address your underlying causes or your underlying problems that could be affecting your fundraising success. So it's a process of going deeper, looking at our beliefs, because it's saying our beliefs create our reality. So if as an organization our beliefs around fundraising are not appropriate, are not supportive, then what happens is that we do not put in place structures and systems that are also that support our work, and therefore as a result, we do not also have actions that help us to have success. So all these levels are important for us to analyze. And so in fundraising capacity assessment, we will look at your beliefs, we will look at your organizational systems and your structures that are in place, but also look at the patterns that you have, your behavior, your current actions, and look at how all these are contributing to your, the current results that you have that probably you want to change. And so that is what fundraising capacity assessment is all about. And we usually have 7 pillars that we have identified that are very critical when we are thinking around fundraising capacity assessment. And I want to run through the 7 pillars very quickly for us to know what we need to look at. And the first step, which looks quite obvious, is really understanding your beliefs. Understanding what we call the fundraising perspectives. And the questions we ask ourselves is, are your beliefs or your perspectives empowering or disempowering? What are your views? I remember when I started off early in my career, I had a very negative perspective around fundraising, perhaps because I just found myself in that space and it wasn't really like a choice of my career. And when I found myself doing it, I wasn't confident, and perhaps because first of all, I believed it's not about begging. I believed it's not something noble. I did not see the connection between fundraising and the work that the organization was trying to achieve. So you as a founder, perhaps you have very clear vision. You understand why you are doing this, and this needs to be done. But do your staff members understand this? Do they have the right perspectives? And this is where we always start when we are conducting our fundraising capacity assessment. We conduct a staff survey, and this opens up a very interesting discussions. And you'll be shocked at how your staff are struggling with beliefs and stories that do not support their work, that they do not motivate them. And so as a result, your outcomes are not good. It's not what you expect. And so understanding your fundraising perspective is key. So that is pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is around planning systems. And in planning here, we want to understand whether the whole team understands the vision, understands the mission, understands your goal. We want to see whether you have a clear strategic plan. And is that plan understood by everyone as well within your organization? What is your direction? Where are you headed to? So having that clarity is important. In fact, it's said that most of the reason why we are not successful in what we do is because we lack clarity. So the fundraising capacity assessment is one tool that will help you to have clarity on where we are headed. Clarity on how much money, how much resources, what are you looking for? For example, when it comes to your fundraising strategy and plan, what is your goal? And do you have the the fundraising plan in place in the first place? Do you know how much resources you need this year, for example, for you to achieve what you want to achieve? Or are we just operating in a space of no direction? So that clarity, and that is what we sit with your team and try to bring that clarity into perspective, so that if you do not have that clarity, then we want to make sure by the end of the day or by the end of this process, you clearly understand your direction and you think through it. So that's pillar number 2 of planning. Pillar number 3 that we look at is, of course, your human resource. Do you have a development team that has the capacity, has the resources that they need? Is there a budget, supporting your development team that has the skills that are needed to do what they're supposed to do? Do they receive regular training? So having a development team is very important. Now, I know some of you are going to ask me, but Lucy, we do not have the capacity. We do not even have the staff. So if you're a startup, I understand you are probably the person responsible for everything, but then that means you need to acquire some basic skills that can help you to grow, and so that once you grow, then you are able to hire a team of staff and a team to support your work. So if you want to learn more about fundraising, you're in the right place. We have a course called Unlock Your Fundraising Potential. The link is down here in the description, and it really helps you to understand the basics as a founder, and that can help you to start your fundraising journey. So our pillar number 4 that you need to put in place is your communication with the external environment. How are you communicating with your external environment? What systems have you put in place? Because there's one thing about knowing we are supposed to communicate, we are supposed to, share our findings, our results, we're supposed to share our impact stories, but what systems have we put in place to make sure that we do that? And they don't have to be complicated. And so what we help you when we do a capacity assessment with you is to put systems at your own level. The levels that an international or a big organization with structures will put are quite different from yours based on your capacity. But then we are able to see what is practical for you. What can you put in place? Can you, for example, manage to do an annual newsletter or a quarterly newsletter, an annual report for your programs? Can you manage maybe to do a success story every week or every month or every quarter? So it really depends on you, but we need a system in place that is clear to everyone, and everyone in your team needs to know their role in ensuring that we have a system for communicating with our external environment. The other A key pillar that you need is to develop a fundraising culture, a supportive fundraising culture, a culture of that is supported with ethics, with people that understand, or a team that understands they have a role to play within your organization. Whether you are a board member, whether you are a volunteer, whether you are an employed staff, it does not matter. Everyone in your team has a role to play, and you need to work as a team. So you need to develop that culture where everyone understands their role. When project officers go out in the field, they see themselves and clearly they understand what their role in fundraising is beyond implementation. We are not asking them to do anything different, but how they carry themselves, how they communicate matters. They need to see themselves as ambassadors. While the development team, we look at them more as the askers, the people who go out there and ask for the resources. But the rest of the team could be playing a different role. They could be the ambassadors, the ones who are creating a good picture out there. So it's important that that culture is well nurtured. You could think of having events within the organization that bring the team together and help them to participate in a noble activity, and that helps them to understand what fundraising is all about. The other factor that you need to have in place is your commitment to evaluation. Are you committed, fully committed, and have you put systems to ensure that your evaluation systems are in place? I know many of us have monitoring and evaluation frameworks or manuals, but do we really use them? Are they practical for us? What simple systems can we put in place to make sure we are collecting data and we are analyzing it, and it is helping us to analyze our impact and helping us to communicate better? Because when you have the systems for evaluation, then you have better outcomes, or you're able to capture, if I may put it that way, you are able to capture your outcomes, and when you capture your outcomes, then you communicate better with your external environment. The other key pillar that we look at is what we call the operational requirements. Do you have the day-to-day operational requirements in place for you to support your fundraising? Do you have the resources? Because there's nothing that comes, that does not require some resources, whether it is in form of energy, in form of time. Do you have the, for example, donor database that helps you to know these are the people who are supporting us, and this is the retention rate? Maybe you should be able to track all your donors and tell this is a first-time donor, this is a repeat donor, this is a major donor, this is a donor that needs this and this. So do you have such kind of a database? Do you have clear policies around, for example, the gift acceptance, what gifts you can receive, what gifts you cannot receive for one reason or another? So do you have all those systems in place? When it comes to operations, we also want to look at the fundraising metrics that you are tracking as an organization that informs your day-to-day activities. So those are some of the things you look into. But of course, when we come to your organization to do this kind of assessment, it's usually a whole day process, actually, or even two, depending on your level. But we want to go deeper and really unearth some of those small, what we at times ignore, some of those small things that we may ignore yet play a very important role. And at the end of the day, what we want to do is to make sure that you have the systems and the support and the structures that help you to achieve your fundraising success. And with that, thank you so much for being here. Before we bring this to an end, I just want to introduce you to our consultancy packages. And these are packages or services that we offer to organizations. We have different levels. We do appreciate that we are not the same. And so we have different packages for different organizations. And what you can see on your screen is the standard package that we offer. But generally what we do offer are services that help you to identify your gaps, to identify your opportunities and see how to move forward. So we help you to come up with an action plan to help you improve your fundraising infrastructure. We help you to develop a fundraising plan or strategy if you do not have one. We also equip you with a lot of resources. We have a package that also includes capacity building for your staff. We can come to your organization and offer you some different kinds of trainings. So if you are interested in my services, I'll leave all my contacts below here. Kindly reach out, let's talk, let's discuss, and see how we can have greater impact in our society. Yeah? Yes. Thank you for being here.